right that it was going to be a surprise no matter how they did it. And they did not get the reaction they were hoping for. Itadori was hoping for tears and excitement and happiness. Unfortunately, he was met with confusion and anger, which is the most realistic feelings, I think, to finding out someone that you've grieved for is actually alive. So that was pretty funny, and it felt so real. And I was really actually happy that they reacted that way. It made me feel almost in a way, like, at first glance you'd be like, oh, there's no connection between them, they're not even really reacting, but really it's like, no, there is a reaction. There's thoughts inside their head. You can tell on their face that they're like, the hell, why apologize, why did we not know you were alive? Like, you're just gonna show up and have been alive this whole time? Like, how dare you? And I love that. Like, I feel like that shows them having a connection and care for each other even more than if they were like, yay, Itadori's alive, you know, crying and happiness.
I love that, like, there's that underlying friendship, you know, like, obviously they're, like, we are being told a story, but that doesn't mean we're being told every instant in their lives. There are other, like, they have friendship, they have a good friendship. The outro was great.
I think that paints a perfect example of we don't get to see everything that they have between them.
Exactly. They know things about each other, right? Like the Juju Stroll last episode, we knew that Itadori taught Megumi how to make meatballs, right?
Yeah. And
or 2 episodes ago.
The whole energy they have, like when they were about to enter the exchange event at the very end of the episode, they were all making jokes that, like, Maki goes first. We're doing this for Maki. Yeah. And Maki was like, no, you're not doing this for me. What? Stop. And I was like, you can just tell. I mean, like, and I think back to, like, Maki and Nobara when Toto and Mai showed up, that episode. It really paints the upperclassmen in this picture that is so sweet. And honestly, I'm like, I love our school. I love our team. Yeah. I love our cast.
Me too.
They are all so just, like, they might have their own pasts and their own reasons that they are the way now that they are. But they still feel like, I feel like they can still see other people for their value and respect them.
Yeah.
Even if they're different. And they might have baggage, but they don't just, like, tote it around like a chip on their shoulder. Obviously, I feel like Maki has total reason to be kind of not very nice, especially to people that are very talented with their use of cursed energy. She could totally be a B word to Fushiguro, you know? Totally. But she's not. She even,
Fushiguro's cool,
gave him some advice on, like, and then he was able to figure out that he could store weapons, you know?
They have good vibes, everybody.
Yeah, everyone has good vibes. Like, they're willing to help each other out because they realize that they are students with the same goal, that they're all going to be fighting curses in the future for humanity.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, it reminds me of the intro, because, like, Maki was kind of, like, very blunt and cold at the intro that we met her on, right? Or their intro, I guess, with Fushiguro and Nobara. But that's another thing that I love about the show that I hope we get more of our upperclassmen, you know, like Panda and Maki. We learned little things about each character that aren't some, like, drastic backstory necessarily, but, like, Nobara likes Smash Brothers. Itadori likes Jennifer Lawrence. Fushiguro, like, obviously is learning to cook. Like, I hope that we get more of those things for, like, Panda or, like I don't know. That's one thing about the show I really like. Like, that, like, there's little sprinkles of personality and stuff that aren't crazy. Like, the meatball thing, that was so cool. I'm a fan.
I am a huge fan. And also not a huge fan of the Kyoto sister school. Mainly because of the old man.
But they're so cool.
Okay. There are a few students I like. I like Momo, the cute little witch. I feel like she is out of place right now in this anime. And she should be, like, the star of a different anime, and it should be all about her.
Even though I think
going
heard
to
her
a
said
witch
one
academy.
sentence.
And so I'm excited to actually see, does she think she's a witch, or does she use the broom for some other reason? I don't know.
Miwa as well.
I feel like their plan is not 100% gonna work. Obviously I don't think they're gonna kill Itadori again for this story. But I don't think that everyone is on the same page. And I think Fushiguro said if all of them came at Itadori, I think he might have said without cursed energy. If
that is 100% what he said, because that would be a different story.
Yeah, I think he said without cursed energy, if all of them came at Itadori, Itadori would win. So obviously when you mix cursed energy in, it's a
completely different game.
Different game.
But like that's like somebody on the street who has no cursed energy fighting somebody else on the street with no cursed energy. That's a normal human fight. Mm-hmm. If one of them has cursed energy, it's a knockout. Like immediately. He's just saying from like a brute strength perspective, he does, like, let's be real. Fushiguro said that he doesn't know what Itadori's been through, but if it was just the pure strength, he'd win that if it was him versus everybody, because that's an innate talent Itadori has had, you know?
Like, think about it. If they weren't paying attention and they weren't able to protect themselves in some way, and then Itadori came up and punched them in the head.
I guess so.
Maybe. But I feel like what's going to be their issue is possible infighting or disagreeing on how to go about the actual plan. People feeling like the plan diverges from their own wishes. Obviously, Toto doesn't seem like he's on the same page. Mai, I feel like, could totally be the one that's like, she's Maki and Nobara right in front of her, and they're like, no, we have to go fight Itadori. And she's like, I have my eyes locked on these two. I'm not coming with you. Like, I could see that happening. So I could see people falling off from the plan for their own wants and, like, desires. So I'm not really sure how it's gonna go for them. Obviously, we have blue-haired girl, which you told me her name, and now Miwa. And didn't know she was a student. Kind of happy to see that she is, because she's really cute, and she's always like in a little suit, and she's so adorable. So can't wait to see what she's like in this episode. But I don't know. It's not gonna be successful, whatever happens. Maybe it's going to be about to be successful, but then Gojo's going to catch whiff that the old man is going to use this as a way to kill Itadori without anyone getting in trouble. So who knows? Maybe, I just thought of something else. Reminds me of My Hero. They're at like a training camp. It's like season 3.
Season 3, episode 1 to 11.
Yeah, and all of the villains show up at their like training camp. So there are some curses here. Like, that's like the whole goal, is that there's like different curses of different levels around in this exchange event, right?
Yeah, that's
so,
like the
what
event
if
that they're
some
doing.
like upper levels sneak in, or what if the curse, you know what they could totally do? I think Geto could like place a Sukuna finger somewhere in there, and one of the like certain level curses could eat it and become more of a formidable foe.
Good guess. Gojo's there. They're at the school.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I get what you mean. The difference with the My Hero thing, they were literally in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, but like Aizawa's there, so.
But they were in the middle of nowhere. They're not in the middle of nowhere here. They're at Jujutsu High. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But if there's an insider, which Gojo thinks there is a conspirator with the curses, there we go.
It is so fun knowing what's going to happen and hearing you so confident about certain things.
I'm very confident.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Sweet.
This is kind of more like Naruto, actually.
Chunin exams?
Mm-hmm. She just flew off on her broom. See? They don't get along. That's the difference. They're all running in a line. They're all running all scattered. Come on. Oh. That made me so happy. It's kind of convenient right now for the sake of Itadori's life that Toto is the one that met up with him. Because then Toto's going to be like, no, you're not going to kill him because I want to fight him.
What do you think of the new intro?
I'm a big fan. It's like a total different feel. Like, I loved the first opening, and I also loved the first outro. But there's something like almost a different type of emotion being stirred in me when I watched this one. I think it really solidifies that they're a team of people that are fighting together. And they're all kind of, all these different components and people that are all trying for the same goal, even if they don't get along.
Before the exchange event started.
I was wondering if they knew what was going to happen.
Maki's cool. And Toto's a monster. Please, I would love it. Toto is a next level, dude.
Maki literally said that Toto could wipe all of them out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yuji might be underestimating him. Why did the curse get in the way? Was that like a sacrificial thing?
I think it was happenstance.
Okay, I was like, did the curse sense that...
Ugh.
I'm not a fan of this. He's not gonna be done. I think he spoke too soon. He's gonna walk away. He's gonna sneak up behind him. Yep, okay. I think a zombie getting up, though. Did he swap? No. Oh god. What's your taste in women? Oh my god, what's his answer gonna be? I don't even know. Are they best friends now? Was that the right answer? It's a flashback? Is it really doing a flashback? Is this gonna be like the first time he ever saw Jennifer Lawrence or something? What the? What's that?
That's not how it works, buddy.
Why is this the best thing my eyes have ever seen? Why is it crying? Is Toto gonna be like, don't kill my best friend?
Simple domain.
なんせ俺は親友に手加減するような野暮な男じゃないからな。頑張れ私。今日も可愛い。落とせ。
Jesus Christ. Nue.
Ooh, it works out there, doesn't it? That matchup? Look at
Halfway.
Fushiguro angry. He's like, I just got my soulmate back. Don't you dare kill him again.
He better not call him his soulmate in front of Toto.
Toto would then try to kill Fushiguro if he said that. You're right.
I love that we get to see this perspective.
Which is what we just talked about ourselves.
She's awesome.
But I also just love that he said, I'm sorry, because he was like, basically without saying it, like, can we please turn back? She's shaking. So she really likes cute things. This feels different after that, like, imaginary scene.
Yeah.
Like, I don't hate it as much.
Oh.
Yes. Really?
Like, remember what Fushiguro said, like his human strength.
Ooh, it's an advantage. I love when stuff like that happens, like the echo of someone yelling like that. Especially when people are scattered.
We got a hint of that. Cool that it's like a visual flashback while we're still getting more information.
I wonder if that's why she fills the assistant role to the principal, so she can meet more of the higher ups and the other teachers from the other schools. Is he gonna critique him now so he can get better? Can't have that happen. What's this music?
My best friend.
I love this outro,
I
man.
want someone to call me their best friend just like that. What kind of person is your type? Okay, I could see that being. Useless, broke, smelly, stingy.
The Winter Soldier in Avengers.
She's so blushy about it. Gojo.
けいい子さな子前髪特徴的なほら庭ねそうそう。
Was he saying that Miwa was his type?
Can you imagine what Miwa would say to that? Or like how she would react?
She'd probably start thinking about how if she married him right away, she would have money. Probably, unless he's like spending all his money all the time. He does seem to like to buy souvenirs. So I don't know. Does he save all his money? Is he a rich boy?
What did you think about this episode?
That like imaginary scene of Toto and Itadori being in school together.
It was so long.
Was amazing. It had to be.
I know.
It was amazing. I didn't even feel like, I wasn't like, wait, they're in the middle of, there's action. They're trying to kill Itadori. I was like, this is beautiful. Please give me more. Because it was so funny and so true. Like, that's obviously, like, Itadori's personality. That's how he would have handled Toto as a friend. If you took away cursed energy and you took away the idea of a Jujutsu sorcerer and they were just two boys in school together, that is totally how their friendship would have been. And that makes me very happy. And I am elated to be growing to like Toto in a new way. When he first came on the scene, his only redeeming quality to me was that he was kind of like cute in his like love of an idol and asking people what their type of woman is. I thought he was comedic in that way and kind of cute, especially when he was like at the signing with the idol and like how his interaction with Mai was. But I did not like the trying to beat Fushiguro to a pulp. Did not like that. So this was awesome. I think it took a character I've already met and kind of made me get to know them better and like them more. He didn't change. Like, nothing that wasn't already given to us as details of his personality has changed. We've just seen it in a different... We've seen it with a person who he could actually get along with.
So, like, that's such a... So we are so used to, like, trying to piece together future plot points or make predictions based off of, like, the information we're given about, like, these grandiose things, you know? We were given very early on that this exact scene was bound to happen. But I, for sure, never saw it happening at all, and then didn't see it happening, of course, the way that it did. Like, we knew very early, like, first 3 episodes, right, what Itadori's type was. Jennifer Lawrence, tall girl with a big ass. And then we knew in episode, I think, 8, that, like, exactly what Toto was going to ask and what he liked. We could have guessed then what would have happened if Toto and Itadori came in contact with each other. But we would, like, why would we have even thought that, you know? And the fact that it happened here, the way that it did, it made it so, like, I don't know, it came to fruition, and it was like, oh my god, that is so true, and I didn't think about that. Like, of course they would have gotten along.
I'm very interested in how these characters were written when they first appeared. I think I've never seen it this way, or at least I don't feel like I have, that your first impression of them is so strongly exactly what their values and personality is, that any further thing you get of them, it's not like you're learning something about them. You're just seeing how they are, just interacting with other people. And it's like it takes it, your brain doesn't have to do that work to kind of try to be like, oh, that's new. That's a new way of personality trait that we're learning about them. Oh, I wonder, you know, it's more just we can focus on the fact that they're real people and they're going to get along differently with different people, but their personality is going to reflect towards different people in different ways.
Yeah.
And I feel like I did not learn anything new about Toto. I really didn't. But what's amazing is that I feel like I know him better or like him better, even though I didn't learn anything new about him. It's
the whole process of understanding someone, right? And their motives, because first impressions. We know your first impression of Toto. I think a lot of people's first impressions of Toto were the very same thing. But once you kind of see, like how you said, they didn't like add in a new fact about him or anything like that.
At all.
But the way that we saw that how the original character was shown to us, just at a different light, at a different perspective, gave us a totally new insight to him. As a character and as a person. I think it relates to real life, you know?
Yeah, it's like if you take a person and you throw them into one room with different people,
Yeah.
they're going to act possibly slightly different than they are depending on the people that are in the room. But they're still going to act like themselves and what you know about them and their personality. So I really did enjoy that. I think that one of the most telling and interesting things that happened in the last episode, and it was super quick, was that everyone ran away after Toto basically staked his claim over this fight with Itadori. And
Very
I
true.
thought even the guy that seems like he's the pompous firstborn, probably super talented, it seemed like even he was like, okay, I'm not gonna cross fists with Toto. I mean, if you think about it, maybe their accursed energy, a fight between them would be different because they have different talents. So maybe Toto would win against this guy, even though this guy's really strong against curses. But it was very interesting that, I mean, it kind of fit into my prediction that someone was going to get in the way of the rest of the team completing this mission.
Kind of, but not in the way that I think you initially planned, like played it
Yeah,
out.
no, definitely
Yeah.
not what I was initially. I thought maybe Toto would in some way be a part of it, but I wasn't like quite sure if it might be a different character, might get in the way for their own reasons. Like I thought maybe Mai would not want to be involved.
I think you correctly assumed, based on the information that was given in the previous episode, that there could and would be a breakdown in teamwork, and that then you went on to assume, which I also did, that that would lead to a team, like teamwork breaking down, and that would be the cause of like a loss to them, like in like this event, or to them as a team in general.
It took like 5 seconds for them to realize, okay, we're not gonna kill him,
Yeah.
so we just should win this event.
And Toto, we should kill him.
So Toto, kill him. But now they're
Yeah.
putting it on a person who might not even do it.
He said it's dependent on Itadori.
Yeah, I know. And so it's like they left knowing that. They knew that there was a possibility this assassination wouldn't actually happen. But what comes from that is if you don't actually kill Itadori, then everyone's gonna know that you tried to kill Itadori. And you're just gonna have to live with everyone knowing that you tried to kill him, even him.
Yeah.
But I guess everyone already knows that now because they realized it from their deduction skills, their brilliant deduction skills, that they were all moving in a group towards the area.
I don't even know if
that
it's like
Itadori was.
I don't want to like take away from their deduction skills, but like they stated in this episode, it's not like they've spent days with him.
Yeah, it's not a huge
he's a curse.
surprise that the sister school would
Or anybody.
feel any type of animosity or like Itadori was literally a curse in front of them.
Yeah.
It makes complete sense. It honestly makes me like the upperclassmen of Jujutsu High even more because they basically took Fushiguro and Nobaro's word. And obviously have had, like a few hours a day with Itadori now to, like, they heard about him and then they got their first impression and I think they realized that it was all connected, that he really was the way that they were painting him.
Yeah.
And I just love how, his name, Toge, the cursed speech user, it's interesting to me that Panda was like, I know you're worried too.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And I was like, oh, he could like read his mind. He doesn't have to speak. I love that. But can you explain to me, or just go over it with me, that they sent Toge away to try to win?
So I think Panda assumed that they were going to, the Kyoto class was going to try to assassinate and kill Yuji while this event was going on,
But
because
can't
they
after.
could say it in the heat of battle this happened. You know, it's not they're chilling all at the school hanging out and then they decide to kill Yuji.
This was the prime opportunity.
So the quicker the event is over,
the better.
The better for their attempt at killing Yuji. But they obviously couldn't just none of them go to defend Yuji, you know? And it seems like, at least from this episode, that they Panda at least has faith in him and his cursed speech that he can do some work.
Yeah, he can basically. So what's their goal? Is to kill more than the other team? To exercise more? Is that their goal?
I'm trying to
remember.
I'm trying to remember what the actual dialogue was, but there are several cursed 3 and below level demons throughout the area, as well as a cursed level 2 demon. Or curse, sorry. We watch Demon Slayer.
We watch so many shows that have different variants of evil.
But and a curse 2 though. Like that's like the big boy, you know. So I think it's like whoever kills more, but also like whoever kills the more prominent one too.
The biggest one.
But
because didn't Maki say, or it might have been Nobara, one of them said, I think it was Maki to Fushiguro, and she was saying, I didn't think we sensed the more notable curse
Fushiguro
there.
said the demon dogs would have sensed it.
It wasn't there. So that's when they realized.
Yeah, and his reasoning was that like if it would have to be a crazy intelligent curse too, but he didn't think that was the case, which it wasn't, obviously. But man, I loved that flashback. The fake memory, right?
Fake flashback.
Yeah. I loved it, and I thought like that
I hope that's a reoccurring bit. Like I hope that like if in the future Toto and Itadori have any other interactions, like another little moment like that happens, I would be over the moon if that happened. I'd be so happy. I'm nervous about. So right now Maki is fighting Miwa. I think Maki would win. At the moment, I think that.
Maki's so cool.
I've not really seen the extent that Miwa can do, but I do know she hesitates against fellow people.
She was like, has Mai been being nice to you? How do you guys, like, get along?
I think she said, you seem too nice.
Yeah.
And she was like, probably. But I feel like Mai might get in the way here, because Mai's looking for Maki and Nobara. Nobara's with Panda next to Momo, the witch. Nishonia. I think that was also Momo's name. Who's like electrocuted and like shaking in a tree. Fushiguro's up against Kama.
I have Utahime. I think Utahime Kana. But I could be totally off. I don't have a list in front of me. Apologies. But yes, he is fighting the person who you had said in this reaction about being the eldest son of the clan. A clan.
Is Fushiguro part of the other big 3? Can you not tell me that? The Zenin blood? Maybe not. Maybe yes.
I don't know.
Did they never say who the other 2 are?
I don't know. What you picked up was definitely like a good pickup, because I was like, huh, that's interesting. But then I got wrapped back up in the fight.
I was thinking that maybe he was based on him kind of matching up with this person and talking to him as if they were like equals that had met before prior to this.
Yeah.
I took it as like they were 2 sons of the big clans kind of meeting up, and they've seen each other at like functions, not like family parties, probably not, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like they had met before in childhood. That's the vibe I was getting. I could have totally been like filling my own like headcanon stuff in there, which happens all the time. Like it's kind of only natural to put your own kind of what if this is the case, you know? It's fun to do that. Sometimes you read into things a little too much.
I always think it's interesting how like phone technology, like, or comms work.
They were allowed to have phones?
I mean, to communicate, right? In Naruto, they have headpieces for a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, so...
It's weird seeing technology used in that way, but it is interesting because, like, they had the smartphones there, but then also the outro is, like, it's taped with a smartphone. There's a lot of, like, modern fill-ins.
I'm glad that you just said that, because it is no secret. This is one of my favorite shows, period. I have had the thought and heard the concern that this show 20 years from now might not age well in a similar way, like if you compare it to how Naruto aged, you know, in that same vein, or One Piece, even though that's still going on.
It never ages.
But the reason for it potentially not aging well being the current pop culture references, like, for example, Sebastian Stan in this episode.
Or just, like, even Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer
really,
Lawrence,
like, a current...
Smash Brothers. But, I think, of course, it does a service to the series in, like, since we are currently watching it.
Audience. It's for the now audience, almost.
Yeah.
Which, like, for an art piece, I cannot knock that idea that sometimes creations are for certain audiences.
Yeah.
And that is the purpose of them, and that is this kind of the special energy of it. And these references totally could have been avoided. They were obviously placed there. And they were obviously placed there because the mangaka knew their audience that they were trying to reach.
And I think it's a better show for it, personally. And I just wanted to know what you guys thought of that. Like, do you think that this show is going to age well in 20 to 30 years? I think it will.
I find stuff like that funny.
Well, of course.
If I watch, like, older media now and there's, like, little references like that.
I think they're smart with their references, too. I think that they are popular enough.
That, if you don't know it or you don't understand it, I don't think it does you a huge disservice.
A story plot isn't based on it.
Like, so here we go. He brought up Jennifer Lawrence. He brought up that she was, a movie star that he had a crush on at the beginning when he first brought her up. Here, she was described as a tall woman with a big ass.
Yep.
So we have all the information we need to know. You know? Like... I don't think it'll do a huge disservice to the future audience that might not know who Jennifer Lawrence is. She's not huge in media right now. I haven't really seen her in anything. But I think they'll get the point of what he's saying. Like, he goes on to explain to Toto what his type is. And then tags her name along. So we already have him saying what his type is without a modern reference solely tied to it.
I think it was brilliant how it was written, because it could easily have not been the way that you just described it.
Yes.
Hell, so if we didn't know who Jennifer Lawrence were, we could be like, oh, that's an imaginary character in this anime
what
world.
would have been kind of poor for that is if Jennifer Lawrence, he says that's his crush at the beginning. Toto asks, "What's your type of woman?" Purely just says Jennifer Lawrence.
Yep.
It could be kind of funny because you're like, oh, we've heard him say that name before.
But the fact that it was both,
but he gave a description of his type.
And then, like Jennifer Lawrence.
That's what aided that. The Sebastian Stan thing, I didn't even know. But I wasn't like... So in my mind, when I heard that, I thought this was an in-world idol character.
Yeah.
Like Toto's idol that he's in love with. I thought that was like a similar situation. So it didn't do me any disservice to not know, but I'm sure it enhances the humor to know. So I think that won't be a huge issue with its aging.
This is Sebastian Stan.
Him! Okay. I just
him.
didn't know his real name.
Yeah, makes sense.
Bucky, right?
Bucky Barnes.
Did not know his real name. I guess that makes sense that actors are real people. Sometimes you forget that. I have like certain actors, I just think purely a character I've seen them as. Like Iron Man, Tony Stark. That's what I would think of, you know?
So based on the matchups we have here, right? So we have Panda, Momo, and who is Panda with?
Panda is with Nobara.
Okay, so Panda, Nobara, and Momo.
Enough, even electrocuted, that Panda and Nobara have to be together?
So that's a group. Fushiguro and Utahime are like a pairing. Maki and Miwa are a pairing. And obviously Itadori Toto are a pairing. Is there anything like is there any one of them that you're excited to kind of see a fight, more fight or more interaction kind of thing? Or even not in those pairings. Are there any opposing students that you want to see?
Where is Robot?
Mekamaru?
Where is Robot?
Probably with Mai. Who knows?
That's the problem here. Like, Nobara is with Panda. They're doubled up. But everyone else is, like, in a single fight.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that means that someone is going to come along to possibly rescue. Wasn't it Mai that said we needed Momo to find the curses?
Yep.
So maybe Mai has gone after. That means it's going to be Mai against Nobara.
Would you want to see that?
I would kind of rather see Panda fight because I've never, like, fully seen it.
Panda fight? That's true. Do you have one matchup, though? I think, like, at this point,
That's a really good
I was like, oh, what would Mai and Maki be? You know, who's the stronger sibling?
In a way, I think I would be more interested in seeing the bloodline boys. The people who are from prominent families or bloodlines.
It's like the best boy band out there, the Bloodline Boys.
Yep. Whoever takes that name for their band, you gotta credit me. I think that I would be most intrigued to see theirs because their curse techniques probably stem back for like years and years and years of like learning. Like obviously Fushiguro showed Sukuna something that was there, and in my mind it seemed like it was probably something passed down or ancient or specific to his bloodline in some way. So I think I'd be most interested to see their fight because I feel like they're probably both very brilliant. Unless this guy is just a wash and he's not a good firstborn son and he has the air about him that he's amazing, but that'd be pretty funny if he was not. I mean, he literally didn't stand up to Toto, so he's obviously not like all it's cracked up to be, but
or he's just smart
and he thought that was a waste of time to kind of have an infighting,
which it probably would have been.
You're so right. So yeah, I think that would be the fight that I don't want to see Maki and Mai because it pisses me off that Maki's family doesn't like see that she is still really strong even without the cursed energy. I know she wants to prove to them that like she doesn't need it and prove to everyone basically that she can still exercise curses and be just as strong without it. But I'm kind of like, what happened in your childhood for these sisters to be, for Mai specifically, to be so mean to Maki, you know?
Yeah, and seemingly everyone.
It doesn't really seem like Maki has as much, like, hatred towards, it's not like a hatred feeling towards Mai. Like, Mai's like, ugh, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, Maki's kind of like, that's just my sister, I feel sorry for you. And I'm like, that's a genuine, real sisterly emotion to have if your sister's kind of like a B word. But, like, I'm like, Mai, what's your problem? Is she, like, secretly deep down jealous? Because maybe she's had all this pressure put on her because she can actually use cursed energy techniques? Honestly.
Maki gives off such, like, big sister, like, older sister vibes.
So much. I'm kind of bummed that Maki and Nobara aren't together right now. In the scheme of things, but I feel like they weren't going to do that for us because obviously that's what happened in the Toto Mai episode. It kind of like the different pairings than before, even though they're not like actually fighting together. I'm interested to see, it looks like Toto's giving Itadori some pointers. In a way, he's kind of triggering him, if anything, to get stronger. In a best friend way.
Besto friendo.
And I think that this interaction is only going to do Itadori some good.
Yeah.
And I am super happy for that.
Don't know how it's going
to end. Don't know what's going to cause the end of the interaction. But I feel like obviously if Itadori comes out of it alive, it is going to have done him a great deal of good and growth.
Definitely.
And it might have him with a really strong ally at the other school. And I think the more people that Itadori charms that want to be his friend or by his side, the better for his survival in the long run.
I don't know, last time he charmed somebody to be his friend, it didn't turn out so well.
Why you gotta be like that?
It was really fucked up, I'm sorry.
This was supposed to be like happy reunion times.
Some people deal with their pain by turning it into humor.
That is true. That is true.
That's all I have for this episode.
Now you have me thinking about how Junpei's jellyfish was so cool and like
It
that
was really
poison. Cool. Wait, member-wise, or amount of people, the other school has more students? Yes? No. No, do they have the same amount of students?
Maybe?
Okay. We have... Okay. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna see if they have the same amount, because I'm curious. Because, like, what's the odds of them having the same amount? That's crazy.
Toto,
Zenon, Mai. Oh.
Mai. Kamo. Miwa. Nishimiya. And Mekamaru. That's 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have Panda. We have Curse Speech Man. Cutie Boy. We have
Bonito
Maki.
Flakes.
Yeah. We have Maki. We have Itadori. We have Fushiguro. And Nobara.
What are the odds that it's freaking even? That
See?
sounds unrealistic to me.
Junpei couldn't have survived. I'm sorry.
Like, obviously, you're right from, like, a equality of the team's standpoint. But, man.
Yeah, well, okay. It seems like they make it equal. There's another member to Panda's grade